Hey there folks. So in this video what we're going to look at is something called the difference node, and we use that inside of our PCG to be able to kind of remove points, remove these kind of points we've got for different paths within our PCG from each other. So if I just turn on, I've got this on just my other screen, I'm just going to turn on all of the mesh elements of this one. So I've got these three here. If I turn these on, you'll see that we have a whole bunch of like the grass kind of ground cover, the flowers. I'm already using these density filters to bring that back. And where these big ones are, so if I just turn off the debug, I've also got the rocks. And what happens is, if we don't have these difference, we potentially could have these flowers growing through each of these other individual ones. Yeah, so we could have these flowers overlapping and growing through our rocks. We can apply this potentially through our forest as well. We don't want necessarily the barks and the trunks of these trees to be growing out of rocks. But how do we find out where one thing is to remove it from another? Okay, so here we are inside of our PCG graph, and you can see here I've put some comment boxes on previous content just to make it a little bit more approachable, but I've got the landscape data, and here I'm using the surface sampler, and that's what's getting me all these individual small points for my ground cover. Now I've broken the connection that was going to all these density filter, transform points and static mesh spawners. These were the ones that were creating ground cover and flowers and leaves and stuff like that all over the floor. But I've also just redone the same flow here where I've got the landscape data. I've used a surface sampler, and you can see here these are slightly bigger points, a bit more spread out with less of them per square meter. I've put some transform points onto them. And you can see what I've got here is essentially a nice big lumpy areas that are going to be my rocks. I've done this based on some of these alpine mountain rocks, so I've kind of used these ones here as this kind of guide of how big these elements should be. If you want to go for something maybe a bit bigger, then possibly you're going to need to have a separate surface sampler and start having a look at these as much bigger, kind of, you know, if we look at this point extents, much bigger extents, because if I take one of these and drag it over, you can see it's much bigger than what I've got here as an individual point. So yeah, I'm using these smaller ones over here, and we can come back in. This point extent is going to be a useful thing for us to do in a bit. I've got the transform points, which just adds some random elements to this. You know, we could obviously go through and use things we've done before to add some variation to these rocks if we really want to. But for now, they are the individual rocks. And I've got a static mesh spawner that I've already set up, and I've just added some rocks into there. So if I just show you this, I'm just going to turn it off. You can see that this is doing exactly what we've done in previous videos, just to spawn a whole bunch of rocks. Each one of those has a random rotation to it, a little bit of random rotation and offset, just to make them feel a bit more natural in their placement. But I'm actually going to just turn that off. In fact, actually, let's break it and just move it out of the way just for a moment. Okay, so how do we get the rock points? Because if I turn these ones on and turn these ones on, how do we get these rock points here to have an influence over the positioning and the existence of these ground cover points over here? You can see if we zoom in, there's going to be loads of these areas where these points are obviously overlapping. And if we actually went inside and kind of like had a look around in here, we're going to find that these are points that are hidden and actually existing inside of each other. Now, that's going to mean that we potentially could have depending on the system we create, could have trees growing out of rocks, and you know, we could have all these kind of plants and flowers that are growing out of rocks. And we want to avoid that. So I want to basically say I want to get a node that's going to give me the difference between these two. It's going to find out where one is and subtract it from the other. And I've given you the answer to that one there. It is a node called difference. So we search for this one, and you can see we have a source input. And then we have the differences. These are the things that need to be actually kind of subtracted and removed from this. And then here, the output is going to be whatever nodes, whatever points are actually left from that. So we're going to do this on the ground cover sampling. I'm going to use the ground cover sampling as my source. So it's going to give me all of these tiny little points. And the difference is, the thing that I'm going to use is I'm going to remove any points where there is a big rock. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make this a little bit more accessible. You might see people who do something like this where they connect it all, and that's great. But the moment we start having, you know, another path down here for some trees, and then another one for bushes, and then we have lots of all different kind of complicated things where we get splines and external actors, we're going to have loads and loads of overlapping lines over here. So Let's make this a little bit more organized. We're going to use something called named reroute declaration nodes, and they're very similar to what we have in materials. So here, I'm going to drag off of this surface sampler for my landscape data, and I'm going to go with named, and you can see we've got a named reroute declaration node. I add that in, and annoyingly, we can't come over here and just be like, oh, I'll just change the name of it. It says surface sampler out, but you can press F2 when you select it, and you can give that one a name. So let's call this one the ground cover points, and that's going to be saved into that reroute declaration. Now I can get that ground cover points, the one I've just created, and I can just get that and use it wherever I need. So let's just show you that's working by taking this one, and I could plug this into all three of them, but just to make it easier for me to reorganize this in the future and add extra things in between, I'm just going to put all of these in here. I'm going to turn off this one, and now you can see it's using that point data that's coming out of here, retargeting, declaring it here, and then I'm just pulling it out into these. Okay, so now we've got that ground cover, and this is where you can start seeing the issue. Look at those flowers that are growing there inside of that rock. We've got any more of them? Probably if we just have a little bit of a look around, there you go, some more over here. The pink ones are the really obvious ones, the very kind of tall vertical ones, but we've still got the issues where any of these are going to go into the ground. Now with rocks and things like that, it's not so much of a big deal because they'll possibly have like that rounded edge and we can hide away from the fact that these things go under. But when it's vertical, we definitely don't want the tips of flowers like this growing through our rock. Okay, so let's go into here. We can either continue on with those points that we've renamed here, or we can obviously just kind of use that node, this reroute declaration node like we have here. And let's do the exact same thing down here. We're going to come down here. I've got this transform points. Note that I'm going to do it after the transform points. If I did it before the transform points, then the point data that I'm saving doesn't have all of the resizing, the rotation and things like that. And that's going to cause me problems. I want this to be the final kind of layout of these points before they get used for spawning. So again, come off of here, say named reroute declaration. I can either get the existing one or I can add a new one. I add it in, I press F2, and let's call this one the rock points. And we can leave it just like that. I can come over to here, and again, I can just put in rock points. This isn't going to do anything right now because obviously this one is just turned off. I want to show you it without the static meshes for a moment. But now, rather than having to have this connection go up and into there, we can just come up to here and just take these rock points and plug them in. And we plug that into there, and now we're basically saying this source information, these basic ground cover points that we've got, wherever they are overlapping with this stuff, we want to remove them so that this is kind of like a subtraction. It removes those things. And you'll see that right now, nothing's actually happening. And the one main thing to get this working, the thing to always do with this is inside of these options of the difference, we've got this density function. It defaults to minimum. Change that to binary. And what you'll see is it should start actually removing these elements away. Now, I've got a bit of a problem. I'm using this reroute here. So let's just move this. This is the same as, what I've just said down below. You want to don't make these changes and edits before you use the reroute declaration. So now moving this afterwards, we've gone from having the points being just the ones that were sampled to the points that were sampled but had the rock locations removed from them. And then obviously that's what gets told to go and spawn each of the plants here. Let's just turn off the rock locations, and now you can see if I just turn this on and off, so debug on and off, you can see that wherever they were, so all these gaps here, wherever they were, they are now being removed. And there's no instances now where I've got those kind of purple flowers growing through. If I just turn this one off and turn on with enable the actual rocks, let's just connect this up to here, so it should be spawning. Now you can see that I've got some rocks, they're scattered through. And if I play from here, I should be able to see that I don't have any of those rocks now actually kind of growing through, or have plants growing through the rocks. We might want to start having to look at some of the plants cutting away from each other, but for now, that's going to be really useful for that. And just to demonstrate that a little bit further and just show that you can put it into all different other areas, you can see I've gone back to a previous example from previous videos where we've created this kind of like forest area, and I want to start adding the rocks to that. So I've taken the rocks content that existed from, you know, putting the rocks into the ground scatter. I've changed the surface sampler to much bigger points. So now you can see that these rocks here, if I was actually just turn these rocks off and enable them, these are much bigger rocks. And I've tried to get the points to be as close to these as possible. Okay, so now I'm just going to actually turn that off and debug the points again. Now we want to look at having it so that, you know, we don't have trees like this. We don't have a tree coming out of those points. We probably can't get it perfect because some of these rocks actually angle off like this here. This is difficult because we have to either make the box as big as the whole boundary of this or the base of it, which means we might have this bit here sticking into branches or trunks. We can obviously play around with this afterwards and see what works with different maybe seeds. But yeah, let's follow the exact same steps. We're going to take the bottom path, and I've already saved it as the rock points. We're going to go to the top path, which is my trees, and after I've done the transform points, I'm going to add in a difference node. I'm going to just create this connection first and then plug it into here. And this is just doing a little bit of a conversion for the points, but don't worry about that. And we want to now remove the rock. So we'll go with our rock points, place that down and plug it in. We won't see any changes because remember, if you want it to actually do the reduction, you need to go to the difference node and change it to binary. And now you can see that it's obviously removing all of those positions where there is a rock. It's removing those trees. So we're saying these are our source ones, the base ones. We want the trees, and wherever there is a rock point, we're going to filter out and remove those ones from it. So now we can obviously come back over here. We can turn the rocks on, we can disable the points, and we can see how we don't really, you know, we still have some of these pointy ones that are going to be problematic. But wherever we've got these rocks, we can obviously see there are no trees. I can come back into here now and I can increase or decrease the looseness when it comes to the placement of these rocks. So you can see less rocks here, or is it increasing the looseness and the spread of those rocks? I can obviously get some spacing between them. I can increase and decrease this point extents. So even just a small little change like 280 to 280 is going to mean that these are going to, you know, obviously be smaller points that are being removed. And potentially we can bring all of these trees just a little bit closer. One thing you'll find with difference is you do get this gap around the outside of things sometimes. And that's things that we'll come back and we'll try and start filling in later. So in future videos, we will look at how we can kind of create a point grid around the outside of things to create like small rocks and scatter around the bigger ones. But for now, we're doing fine here to cut all these. And obviously I just change this seed here and we can just change where those rocks are. Okay, so difference node, really useful if you've got what I'm going to call here, you know, multiple paths. So we've got the tree path and the rock path. If we need to say, let's take the point data from one of these and remove it from another one, we can use that difference node in order to allow us to do that. Thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing to access more of my Unreal Engine content.